All right, so we're going to consider the situation where 7 people go to the movies, Winona and 6 of her mates. So they're all going to sit in one row in 7 seats. However, there's a couple of constraints on this arrangement. Winona doesn't want to sit on the ends of the 7 seats, and 2 people, John and Chloe, hate each other, so they don't want to sit next to one another. All right, so we've got to think about all the different ways that we can arrange people. So what we're going to firstly do is work out the number of ways we can arrange the group without any constraints. All right, so that is, there's 7 ways to choose our person in seat 1. That leaves 6 ways to choose our person in seat 2, right? So these things are going to get multiplied together. 5 times 4 times 3 times 2. There's only one way to choose the last person. There's 7 factorial, or 5,070 different ways to 5,040 different ways to choose the arrangement of 7 people into 7 seats without any constraints. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to subtract off the number of possible ways that Winona could be seated at the edge. So we're just going to figure out how many different ways Winona is at the edge. And then we're going to take this number of unsatisfactory arrangements. We're just going to deduct it from the total number of arrangements. So if we constrain Winona, we count. So we go Winona, we put Winona in, say, seat 1. This is her at an edge. There's seat 2, there's 6 ways to choose seat 2, 5 ways to choose seat 3. Oops, I forgot 4. 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Okay, that's 6 factorial different ways where Winona is in seat 1. There's another possibility. Winona could be in seat 7. Right, but that's still 6 factorial different ways that we could arrange with Winona in seat 7. So there's 2 times 6 factorial ways that Winona can be on the edge. That's 1,040, or 1,440 different ways. So obviously there's now 3,600 ways. That is this number, 5,040 minus 1,440 ways that we know that we can seat the 7 people where Winona is not at the edge. The last thing we got to do is we got to figure out how we deal with the John-Chloe pair, right? So these 2 people hate each other, so they don't want to sit next to each other. So the number of ways of arranging 6 items, or 6 people, where I guess one person is a pair. So what we're going to do, where 6 items is probably better, where one item is a pair. So for example, if we were to draw out the seats, right, what we're doing is we're looking for arrangements like this. We're pairing them. We're explicitly forcing John and Chloe to sit next to one another, and then arranging everything else, right? So there's 6 factorial ways we can do this, right? That leaves where we can allow Winona at the end in this case. Right, so there's 6 factorial ways that we can put John and Chloe as a pair, right? And that's what we want to exclude. However, we also have to think that there's 2 ways to pair John and Chloe. We can have John and Chloe, or we could have Chloe and John, right? So we have to account for the fact that there's 2 of these 6 factorial arrangements. However, this whole idea still allows arrangements where Winona is at the edge. Now we want to exclude them as well. So we know that there are 2 ends where Winona won't sit, and then we've got 5 things left to arrange. So so 2 ends that Winona can sit on times 2 times, that's order of John and Chloe, times 5 factorial, which is the remaining number of things we get to arrange. Okay, so 2 times 6 factorial, well, that's 1440. This one is, it turns out to be 480. So it's 5 factorial is 120 times 4. Okay. So the difference, 1440 minus 480, 960, that's the number of arrangements where John and Chloe are paired, but Winona is not on the end. Okay, so this number is the important one. 960 ways that we can seat John and Chloe together without Winona on the edge. We previously worked out that there were 5,040 total ways that we can arrange the group. There's 1,440 ways where Winona's on the edge. And there's 960 ways where John and Chloe are paired, but Winona is not on the edge. So the total number of ways that we can arrange this group, satisfying the constraints, is subtract off the possibility that Winona's on the edge, subtract off the possibility that John and Chloe are paired, and we're left with 2, 6, 4, 0 possible different ways where Winona is not on the edge and John and Chloe are not sitting together in either order.